So yeah, thank you so much, guys, for coming. This is Collective Calls. We hold on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Today's Tuesday, obviously. And we are, as always, Ivan and Malika hosting today's meeting. And always we do that. And yeah, we got 3 amazing projects today to pitch here to tell us more about, the core idea and then answer the Q&A. So yeah, that's the drill. So let me walk you through them real quick. So first of all, we got a project called AI Dojo, represented by Marcello. Then we got founder and CEO at DIGARD. Hopefully I pronounced everything correctly. Correct me if I'm wrong. So it's from Keno Chains. And last but not least, we got co-founder at NYALA, represented by Johannes. So guys, thank you so much for being here. Sorry for butchering your names. And yeah, let's start with the first project. Let's start with Marcello and AI Dojo.
Hello. So I'm pretty much gonna go freehand. I have a presentation, but I prefer to keep it more conversational. Maybe I'll show just a slide of a little mock-up that we've done of the platform that we have in mind. So nice to meet you all. Thanks for having me. I attended a few of these calls in the past. It's an interesting bunch. I'm based in Dubai, originally Italian. Been in crypto AI since 2017, since the very beginning. I was part of the founding team of SingularityNet. I'm sure many of you guys are familiar with the name at least. We kind of invented the intersection between blockchain and artificial intelligence back in 2017, and also the project associated with Sophia the robot. And then in 2021, within SingularityNet, I did the first company in their ecosystem called Singularity DAO that reached over 600 million in evaluation and 65 people. And Singularity DAO was the first experiment of using artificial intelligence in DeFi. Basically an on-chain asset manager done with artificial intelligence. Then I took a break since 2023. I quit the whole lot and hey Joe, and I've been wondering what to do next, supporting some projects, advising, investing, and talking to some of the smartest people in my network. And then I got hit by the huge wave of agentic AI, and I'm extremely bullish on decentralized agents and anything that can come out of it. But after the first wave in November 2024, it was pretty clear that we were building cars without really having the roads, and I think that building that infrastructure layer, the highways, is extremely important in order to have functional cars, right? So we've seen a lot of agents. We got drunk with many of them, but we also realized, especially when you come from a technical AI perspective, which I don't, but a lot of the people around me do, you realize that a lot of these agents were developed in a fairly amatorial way, quick and dirt way, right? So let's launch, let's attach a wallet to it, let's hope that the agent shill it, let's hope that some influencer picks it up and pumps it up to billion-dollar evaluations. And so basically we realized that most of these agents were untested and amatorial. So I met a CTO that have been doing agent evaluation for the past 7 years of his life, working in generative AI, especially focused on evaluating agents. So clients were going to him and tell him like, my agent is broken. Can you please fix it? And there is a whole process called AI observability that goes through testing the prompts against different LLMs, do the tracing, so each and every interaction of the human with the agent, and see where it fails, and then do the evaluation. But this whole experience was a nightmare from a developer perspective, so we decided to bring it all together under one roof. And so we created a platform called AI Dojo, which is now at MVP level. So on AI Dojo, developers can generate agents using their preferred framework. We basically integrated with all the major frameworks, and then they test different prompts against different LLMs. Once they have the agent structure, they can do the tracing, and we're able to handle millions of traces every day. And then they do the evaluation against some metrics that are industry standard metrics, and they can create their own metrics. And we also offer the opportunity to create the synthetic data needed in order to do all of this. So wonderful. So at this point, we have a SaaS platform that works, that can already generate revenue, and that's useful. But the outcome of this platform are basically battle-tested agents that are tested and evaluated. So I thought, what do we do with this agent? We can create a dashboard, coin market cap style if you want, and we can act almost as a rating agency for AI agents, right? Similarly to what Moody's and Fitch do for regular companies and for governments. We rate agents. We create a universal benchmark to rate AI agents, and we can publicize. So that opens up different revenue streams. So on one hand, we have the SaaS platform. Developers can do everything by themselves, and then we certify the agents. Or developer that already have agents, they can come to us and we do rating as a service. So anybody can see whether these agents are failing, whether they hallucinate. They can compare different metrics against each other, and you have a user satisfaction rating as well. So that should give a sort of like guarantee or safe net to users that the agent that they want to engage with, or that they want to use, they want to buy, actually has been tested and verified by a third-party agency or firm like we are.
Okay, thank you, Marcello. Thank you so much for your pitch. And meanwhile, we are waiting. You said you already have generate revenue. Could you please, explain your business model in general?
Yeah, so we are not generating revenue yet, but we could generate revenue in the moment that we start commercializing the platform, right? So the platform is there and it's not ready yet. But it's a SaaS model. Users can just pay access to it, and that generates revenue. But the most interesting part of the business is the universal benchmark that we are creating. There is no such a thing right now in the market, especially focused on agents. There are companies that rate LLMs, and they charge hefty fines for rating LLM. And we believe that with the rise of so many agent launchpads in the market, there needs to be a trusted third party that verifies whether these agents actually do what they're supposed to do and they're not scamming. For example, we expect that the majority of the agents that will be launched throughout the next 6 months are probably going to be DeFi trading agents, right? And when you have an agent that is actually handling money, you want to make sure that the agent doesn't hallucinate, that has a low latency, that has a low error rate. And that opens up a whole new revenue stream. The idea is to start working with launchpads. We're already speaking with Auto.fun from ElizaOS, with Virtuals, with Vader. They all love the idea and they all understand the necessity of a trusted third party to do the quality assessment. They're all trying to come out with their own framework to do agent quality assessment, but the problem is that it's still coming from them and somewhat centralized or AI driven. So we are the only third party that actually is going to do that. And then once we start working with launchpads, we can rate the agents, and then gradually will become a need in the market, and we're gonna start charging for evaluations.
Okay, thanks. And there is no competitors in the field yet?
Look, there are some competitors that are operating in the AI observability space in Web2, such as Galileo, which is a company from YC, Arise.com, which just raised, which is over $1.3 billion valuation. I think there is 131 million in the latest round. And these are well-established companies, but they focus on language models. Nobody really focus on agents, and nobody's looking at the Web3 space, which to me, the Web3 space is a great opportunity because that's where, you have the distribution channels like launchpads. You can go to launchpad, and all of a sudden Virtuals has over 300 agents, I believe. Auto.fun is going to launch many agents in the next months. And so does Vader, and so does many other. So we'll do many other launchpads coming into the market. So that's the opportunity, and nobody's doing that in this space.
Okay, got you. Thanks. We've got a question here in the chat. What has been the most surprising feedback or insight you've received from AI developers using your platform so far?
Yeah, so they haven't yet. Thank you, Marisa, for the question. They haven't yet used the platform, but by conversations that I'm having with developers, the most surprising feedback is, I don't care if my agent doesn't work as long as it makes money. And I don't want you to evaluate it because maybe my agent is shit, but it still makes money. So that's to me is the most surprising. But I think that's a very short-term view. In the future, they would have to prove their quality, because if you want to win consumer trust, then you need somewhat to have a third-party validation.
Thanks. Peter is asking, what are you raising? Potential token utility?
Yeah, so that's a good question. So right now, the goal is to survive as long as possible with as little money as possible, waiting for the next market cycle. So we're currently raising just 200K to survive the next few months and to keep developing, incorporating the company and do some marketing. And we are debating internally whether we want to raise through equity and tokens. And I know that this is a debate that is going on, that many are facing. If we are to have a token, the token will be a payment token to use for the platform. It would be a reward token for the data labeling, because we have a synthetic data generation part done by artificial intelligence. But obviously, there is always a need to keep humans in the loop, and the humans will be incentivized through our token. And we want also to decentralize the evaluation process to community of developers, and we're going to incentivize the developers also with the token.
Thanks. Hope it answers the question. Another one. AI is evolving fast. How does AI Dojo ensure it stays ahead in adapting to new frameworks and technologies?
Yeah, so that's also very interesting. So for once, I wanted to be ahead of the trend and see the what's coming next. And I thought that agent evaluation was the next big thing. But apparently, I heard that it's a topic that has been debated, that's been discussed not extensively, but it's been discussed, especially in Silicon Valley over the past 6 months. I did also like a Google trend analysis, and I saw that since February, pretty much agentic evaluation has become a topic of discussion. So right now, single agent evaluation is interesting and needed. However, multi-agent system evaluation is the next big trend. And that's what we want also to tackle. We know that, the future is multi-agentic, is multi-layered agentic interactions. And people have realized that human to agent interaction, it's okay, but boring. But multi-agent system is what really interesting and what actually will drive the growth of this industry. So we want to focus on that. We want to also focus on that.
Okay, thanks. I think it answers the question.
Yeah, absolutely. We have no more questions. I think we can move on. Thank you so much, Marcello, for your time here. It was a great pitch. Now we're moving on to our next project. Yes. DIGARD, hopefully I pronounced correctly.
Yes. Hello guys, I'm Can, CEO and co-founder of DIGARD. And we have been working on DIGARD for 4 years, and we have been building a decentralized infrastructure to simplify blockchain integration for users and developers. And but before go into details, so you guys know BlackBerry, I believe. And did you ever consider why BlackBerry removed from the market? And the reason is they didn't focus on the project side, the application development side. They didn't let the other developers develop in with their operation system. And because of this, they don't have a chance to onboard new communities. And we are facing same problem in the blockchain ecosystems too. And integrating and growing projects in blockchain is really sucks. And integration is really expensive for startups and manual, and hiring cost is high, and hiring developers sometimes is risky. And the whole ecosystem is fragmented. NFT tooling is in a different place, token tooling is in a different place, community tooling in a different place, and there are lots of chains. Projects don't know, especially Web2 projects, have no idea about what chain they should integrate. And the current solution is inconvenient because firstly, they are not fully interoperable and multi-chain. And in addition to this, when we compare with fragmented ecosystem and the current solution inconvenience, and the system turns totally broken because developers need easy to integrate ecosystem. And for example, we are talking with different gaming projects, and right now they integrated with Immutable, and they don't have money to fully integrate their project into blockchain side. And the result is they want to stop building, and the team is burned out, and the blockchain adoption remains a dream. instead of a default for them, and lots of similar projects. And as DIGARD, we believe that to grow blockchain ecosystem, we must focus on developer side, because with the BlackBerry example and most of the other smartphones integrated with other developers, and they created new needs for the community and clients. And when we onboard more projects, there will be more solutions. Solutions will be more accessible, and more new use cases will be happen in the blockchain ecosystem. And of course, more users onboarded. And as DIGARD, we developed a solution to onboard, integrate, and scale any type of project with projects no need, blockchain expertise, and our system fully automatized, and sometimes you need to add low code or no code integration. And we have plug and play modules, and our whole ecosystem is unified, and we provide multi-chain interoperability. In addition to this, we built a community development system like Layer 3. Projects can grow their communities and increase their retention rates, and with advanced analytics. And the total market size is more than $150 billion. And for us, and this includes Web2 projects we would like to integrate. And in addition to gaming side, we are in talks with some diamond developer deep tech technologies to integrate their ecosystem into blockchain sites. And we have two different revenue model. One of them is B2B module sales, and the other one is our DEP in platform user fees. And we built whole structure for developers: blockchain tooling, NFT tooling, token tooling, community tooling, and reward tooling. And just 30 seconds, and we have competitors, and most of them focusing on user side, but no one cares about the developer side. So we care about developers, and we believe the ecosystem will grow with automatized, unified, and simplified solutions for developers. And thanks so much for your time. And we are asked for $250 million for our $1,000 for our pre-seed round. So we would like to turn DIGARD into a profit machine. Currently, we are onboarding clients. Currently, we have 5 clients, which is start our integrations. Yeah, and our competitors like Treasure DAO has more than 85 million valuation, and Sequence raised more than 60 million for their decentralized infrastructure.
Thank you so much for your pitch. We've already got some questions. With a strong team and a roadmap to launch in 2025, what's the key challenge you expect to face between now and your public test, and how are you preparing for it?
And actually, we start our testnet a couple of months ago, and we have a small community, and they are testing it and giving our feedback on the community building site. And for the project integration side, we also developed 4 different games, and during these 4 years, we integrated our games into blockchain ecosystem and with full gaming mechanics. And for example, it took us to 1 week to integrate all of our 30 different smart contracts from Arbitrum, from BNB to Arbitrum with all assets. And currently, Arbitrum players and BNB players can battle together. And in addition to this, when you can use different assets from BNB chain and Arbitrum in the game. And so actually we start our testnet process.
Okay, thanks. Yeah. I don't know if it answers the question. We also got another one with your multi-chain decentralized infrastructure. What's been the biggest technical hurdle in ensuring smooth integration across different blockchains?
Yep, both questions actually, and about technical challenges. And for 4 years, we faced lots of different challenges. For example, during our NFT mints, we faced our indexer, the third-party indexer stopped working, and we had one of the most hyped NFT sale back in 2023. And because our indexer gets down, and we don't have a chance to directly start the mint. And because of this, we built our own indexer. So every time you face the problem, we developed it ourselves to create an all-in-one structure.
Okay, interesting. Thanks. Do we have more questions?
Unfortunately not, but I can see people typing in because we got, some time for a couple of questions. Also, I got one. So could you tell us a bit more about your team? So who are your team members? How many are in there? So yeah.
Before that, I like to finish Maniza's question and replying.
Okay, please go ahead.
And expect to face between now and your public test. So we are like more than 2 years in a public test net with our thanks to our game site. So we are continuously testing it. But right now we call it marketing campaign. And actually we are live and our beta is usable, and we just want to build our community and create some traction, and because of this we will call it public test, but actually it's like for 2 years. And for the team, currently we have 10 people, and we have 4 co-founders, 3 of them developers, and me as myself, I'm marketing manager for my previous job before 4 years ago. And so in total, we have 6 developers and 4 operational side, 1 partnership manager, and we have 1 social media manager and 1 community manager.
Okay, thank you. And have you concluded any partnerships yet? Maybe advisor, or are you looking for someone right now?
Yeah, we are looking for new advisors, and we also have advisors. Head of Arkham Turkey is one of our advisors, and we have advisors from Netherlands with startup Dutch, and also for the equity side, the investment will be done in a Dutch company, and our company is in the Netherlands for the equity side, and for the token side, our company is in BVI. So yes, we are looking for advisors who can add value to our infrastructure, because I believe there's a quite good potential, because we talk with 5 different people, 5 different projects, and every one of them like to purchase a different part of the project, different modules of the project.
Okay, gotcha. Thank you.
Yeah. Also, in addition to this, we partnered with more than 75 different games, and so far we listed them in our decentralized app on our website, and we just talk 5 of them about our services and products. So we have 70 different client or leads like to that we can negotiate about selling some of our modules.
Yeah, great. Thank you for clarifying that. Yeah, thank you. And we're moving on to our last but not least project. So it's called NYALA, and Johannes is here to represent it to you guys. So yeah, thank you so much for coming. Passing back to you, man.
Hi, Johannes.
Hello. Thank you very much for having me. My name is Johannes Schmitt. I'm co-founder and co-CEO of NYALA, a Berlin, Germany-based company that focuses on tokenization of financial securities. Why do we do this? Why do we decided to tokenize financial securities? Well, we believe capital markets are great. Of course, they have generated a lot of wealth for hundreds of thousands of investors on the one hand, and also helped thousands of companies raise funds in a very efficient manner. So there's no problem with capital markets in general, but they don't really work that well for small and medium-sized enterprises, for these companies that don't have huge IPO budgets and can afford to go public that easily. And those are the companies that we want to address with our solution, and specifically in Europe, in the European Union, where we know that capital markets are very inefficient compared to, for example, the United States. This is, we think, is also going to be very helpful for investors in general, because right now many investors are locked out of the opportunities that we see in the capital markets, in the professional capital markets, both public and private. Most investors cannot participate in the huge gains that we can expect from groundbreaking technologies such as AI, that was mentioned also on this call, right? There's a lot of gains to be made in the coming years and decades. And with our solution, with our tokenization solution, we think we can level the playing field for those investors to also participate and invest in the most innovative companies in the world. And how do we do that? We leverage the technology, tokenization, and very smart regulation that exists in Germany that allows us to natively issue real securities on chain. So we have a preliminary license by our supervisory authority in Germany called BaFin to issue such securities on public chains. And that's what we've been doing for a while. And we have a technology platform for tokenization, and we have the regulatory piece that's required to help any issuer essentially in the EU raise capital. And this is, of course, great because this is coming back to the initial problem statement. This is what companies need. Companies need access to funding. And as I said, IPOs are very expensive. So we're lowering the barriers for accessing public markets, as it were, by creating the opportunity for a digital IPO. That's done by just essentially creating a share that is tokenized and putting it directly, marketing this share on, for example, on an issuer's website, and with our license and with our technology that's possible. So DPOs, digital IPOs, become much cheaper than traditional IPOs. And the market size is very big. Everyone knows, even Larry Fink knows, the opportunity is enormous for tokenization on the one hand. And then the problem, as I said, is severe. We know that Mario Draghi, a former commissioner of the EU, president of the EU Commission, has created this competitiveness report about Europe where he says there's an 800 billion funding gap every year that European SMEs, small and medium enterprises, face. And this is exactly the gap that we want to close. As I also said, capital markets are very inefficient in the EU. And so that's where our solution comes in. Our customer workflow is very elegant, natural, seamless. We have a self-service platform. We have also a very feature-rich API that these issuers can call. And we're also this year working on new exciting features such as co-listing opportunities. That means if you're an issuer and you want to place 5 million, but you don't have the distribution power for 5 million, you can co-list day 2 of the 5 million on another platform via the NYALA API. So all these things are brought to you by our platform. And how do we make money? We make money by taking a small cut of the issuance volume. So we make money when our clients, or if our clients are successful, there's a small base fee we take. But other than that, we're successful if the customer is successful. And we've done this for 3 years, and there's quite some track record that we're also proud of. On our platform, we've tokenized over 30 million euro. And one of the highlights is that we were the first company in Germany to tokenize our own shares with our own solution in 2024. And this is also what we're doing now. We started this new round. You see it on the right-hand side, which is a DPO round. So we ourselves as NYALA are raising funds by making it a digital IPO, and everyone is welcome to participate in this, of course. And also have a wonderful team. I myself spent 8 years at Kraken. My co-founder spent 5 years at BCG. There's a lot of interesting experience on our team, of course. And I think I'm out of time. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Johannes. It was very interesting pitch. And yeah, we've got some questions here. You've mentioned a 2 trillion funding gap in the EU. What's the most surprising reason this gap persists despite all the funding activity?
I don't think there are that many funding activities, actually, especially, this is also, I can only encourage everyone to read or check out at least this report on the lack of competitiveness in the EU by Mario Draghi. If you're a small Portuguese company and you want to build a software company, you don't have that many funding possibilities. You have your local bank maybe, but as we know, local banks don't understand technology and they clearly don't want to invest in companies that aren't already profitable. Then yes, of course, there's VC funding, and yes, it's getting better. Even in Europe, it has been getting better, but I think the penetration is still not there where we want it to be. So I think tokenization is going to have to do to bridge the remaining gap there.
Thank you so much. Yeah, great answer. Are the tokens issued by NYALA considered to be securities?
100%. That's the special. This is why this is so special, right? It's not just a gimmick token. It's not just something that could be something if you do something else. It is a security with an ISIN. It has exactly the same status as any share held by the DTCC in the US. Like any Tesla share is a security in the same way in which our security in our tokenized or token is a security, with the exception that ours is a German token issued in Germany, but according to German, a European securities law, and the Tesla share is an US American security. Other than that, same thing. Both have an ISIN. Both can be traded anywhere.
Thanks. Peter is asking fully MiCA compliant?
MiCA does not matter for us because guess what? We're a security. So what matters is MiFID. MiFID is the law, the regulation in Europe that governs securities. So this is actually surprisingly, maybe because it's a token, it's a MiFID regulated instrument. And yes, since it follows the German Electronic Securities Act, it is, of course, fully MiFID compliant.
Thanks. Alan is asking, are you tokenized securities for investors in Europe only?
Yes. So there may be certain exceptions we can't make on a case-by-case basis, but our DPO is only targeting investors in European EU countries, which is still a big market, 27 member states and over 450 million inhabitants, but still, for this one, it's limited to Europe.
Okay, yeah, got you. Thanks. If you could solve one problem today to improve your growth, what would that be? Is it operational, marketing, BD, other?
I think it's still BD. To be honest, we got a lot of interesting leads, but there's a long way to go. I showed the graph with we're at 30 million euro. I would love to be at 300 million or 3 billion, right? Not a secret. So still a lot of growth ahead, but we're excited for that.
Okay, thanks. And there is another question. The idea of a digital mini IPO is super interesting. What's the response been like from traditional investors, and how are you bridging the gap between old school and new school finance?
Yeah, I mean, great question. So far, we have been, we announced this DPO round like a week ago. We have some interest. We also particularly have interest from private investors, not so much professional investors. But yes, the ones we've spoken with are super positive. And also, if you listen to just podcasts and within my network, there's a lot of VCs who talk about tokenization and say this is the next frontier. Also for VCs, actually, quite interesting. I can just mention a name so that I'm not just making this up. Sherwin Peshever, very famous VC investor, of course, right, says this is the number one opportunity that's coming for VC.
Thanks. Yeah, if we have more questions, there is another one.
We got one.
If it's limited to the EU, does it assume that Europe has ample capital currently but lacks channels connecting investors?
No, I mean, this is not the reason it's limited to the EU is 100% regulatory reasons. We use a certain type of offering, and that offering is only available in the EU, given the partner we're doing this with. So it has nothing to do with what I said about the problem statement. The problem statement persists. Europe has a problem. I'm happy to talk about this with you further after the call.
Mm-hmm. Thanks. Yeah.
We're done with the questions. Yeah, it was really interesting session. Thank you so much, Johannes, for your time here. Great pitch, very professional. Appreciate that. And thank you so much, everyone present here. If you want to be our next guest and pitch it right here on our next calls, feel free to find the form for participation in the chat, which is right now there. And also there's a feedback form. And thank you so much, guys, for being here. See you in today's Thursday.